My name is Daisy, and I am 29 years old. I live in a small, quiet village near a big, sparkling lake. Life has not always been kind to me. Every morning when I wake up, I feel a little bit scared. Every night before I sleep, I sometimes cry without making a sound. I wish I could have a different life, a happier one, but I don't know how to find it. When I was a little girl, my world was full of sunshine. My mom would sing silly songs to me while she made breakfast. She always made my favorite pancakes with lots of sweet syrup. Before bed, she would read me fairy tales about brave princesses and friendly animals, and she would kiss my cheek and tell me she loved me very much. My dad worked at a wood shop in the village. He made beautiful things out of wood, like chairs and tables. Sometimes he would bring home little wooden toys he made just for me. He had a big smile and would always laugh when I showed him my drawings. I had one older brother. His name was Leo. He was always looking out for me. He would help me with my homework, and if anyone was mean to me, Leo would stand up for me. We would play hide and seek in the tall grass behind our house and tell each other our biggest secrets under the starry sky. But when I was 11 years old, everything changed. One sunny afternoon, my dad went to work like any other day, but he never came back. We waited and waited. My mom kept looking out the window, her eyes full of worry. Days turned into weeks, and the happy feeling in our house disappeared. My mom cried a lot, her shoulders shaking. I was too young to really understand what had happened, but I knew something was very wrong. People in the village whispered that there had been an accident at the wood shop. A big machine had broken, they said. My mom didn't talk much about it, but I saw the sadness in her eyes. She stopped singing in the morning, and she didn't read fairy tales to me anymore. She just seemed very tired all the time. 2 years later, my mom got sick. She started coughing a lot, and she became very thin. Her face looked pale, and she didn't smile anymore. She didn't have the energy to cook or clean the house. Leo, who was now 16, started working at the local grocery store after school to help us. I tried to do my part too. I would try to cook simple meals like soup and toast, and I would try to keep the house tidy. I was only 13, but I felt like I had to be strong for my mom and for Leo. One quiet evening, my mom called me to her bedside. She took my hand, and her hand felt so small and weak. She looked at me with gentle eyes and said, "Daisy, you are a good girl. Take care of your brother. Be brave, and always remember that I love you." Those were the last words she ever said to me. The next morning, Leo found her sleeping peacefully, and she didn't wake up. After that, everything became much harder. A cousin of my mom's, a woman named Clara, came to live with us. At first, she seemed nice enough. She helped with the funeral arrangements, and she made sure we had food to eat. But soon, Clara's real personality came out. She was a very strict and unhappy person. She would always find something to complain about. She would yell at Leo and me for the smallest things. If Leo didn't do his chores exactly the way she wanted, she would get angry. If I left my stuff on the sofa, she would scold me loudly. One cold evening, Clara got very upset because Leo came home a little late from work. She started shouting at him, and then she slapped him across the face. I was so scared. I ran to my room and hid under the covers, crying. Leo didn't say anything. He just looked sad and went to his room. The next day, Clara acted like nothing had happened. I wanted to leave, to run away from her, but I had nowhere to go. I was just a child. I didn't know anyone outside my village, and I didn't have any money. I stayed because of Leo. He was only 16, but he took care of me as much as he could. Years went by. I learned how to be quiet and stay out of Clara's way. I would help Leo with the chores, and I tried to keep the house clean so Clara wouldn't get angry. I didn't talk much unless she asked me something. I learned how to survive in that unhappy house. When I turned 17, I got a job at the little bakery in the village. The owner, Mrs. Gable, was a kind woman with a warm smile. She taught me how to bake bread and make cakes. I loved the smell of the warm bread in the morning. One day, a boy named Sam started working at the bakery too. He was a few years older than me, with bright blue eyes and a friendly smile. He always said hello to me and would sometimes help me with the heavy bags of flour. One afternoon he gave me a small cookie he had just baked. He said, "You look tired. Are you okay?" I wanted to tell him everything, but I just nodded and smiled a little. Sam started waiting for me after my shift at the bakery. We would walk home together, talking about simple things: the weather, the people in the village, our favorite kinds of bread. He told me he loved to draw and wanted to become an artist one day. I told him I liked to read and dreamed of living in a big city. He smiled and said, "Maybe we can go to the city together someday." At first I was shy, but I liked spending time with Sam. He made me laugh, and he listened when I talked. I started to feel a little bit happier. I thought maybe life could get better. We would sit by the lake in the evenings, watching the sunset paint the sky with beautiful colors. He would tell me about his drawings, and I would read him poems from my favorite books. But one day, Mrs. Gable told Sam that she couldn't afford to keep him on anymore. He was sad and angry. He started staying home all day, looking out the window. He said he felt like a failure. He started saying mean things to me, telling me I didn't understand his problems. One evening, he pushed me when we were arguing. I fell and hurt my knee. He said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it." I believed him. I didn't want to go back to the sad feeling I had when I lived with Clara. I had nowhere else to go. But Sam did it again. He became angry easily, and he would shout at me. He started acting like Clara, making me feel small and scared. But I stayed. I thought maybe I could help him. I thought maybe he would change. When I turned 19, I found out I was going to have a baby. I was scared, but also a little bit excited. I thought maybe this would make Sam happy. Maybe he would love our baby and stop being angry. But Sam didn't stop. He got even angrier when I told him I was pregnant. He said he wasn't ready to be a father. He said I had ruined his life. I cried a lot. I wanted to leave, but I didn't have any money, no home, and no one to help me. One night he yelled at me so loudly that I started to cry. He pushed me again, and I fell and hit my head. I lay on the floor, holding my belly, scared for my baby. The next day, I went to see Mrs. Gable at the bakery. I told her what was happening. She looked at me with kind eyes and said, "Daisy, you need help." She gave me a piece of paper with a phone number on it. It was for a place that helped women who were in trouble. That night, while Sam was asleep, I packed a small bag. I left a note on the table and quietly left the house. I took a bus to a town far away. The place Mrs. Gable told me about was a safe house. There were other women there, some with children. Some looked sad, but they were all trying to find peace, just like me. I stayed at the safe house until my baby was born. It was a little girl. I named her Lily. She had my blue eyes and Sam's curly hair. When I held her in my arms for the first time, I cried. I whispered, "I will always protect you." Life was not easy, but I worked hard. The people at the safe house helped me find a job cleaning rooms at a small hotel. I worked in the mornings and came back to feed Lily in the evenings. We lived in a small room with one bed and a little table. It was simple, but it was our own. For a while, I felt strong. I smiled more. I took Lily to the park. I read her stories. I didn't think about Sam much. I tried to forget the past. But then one day, Sam found me. I was walking home from work. I heard a voice behind me. "Daisy!" I turned around. My heart stopped. It was him. He looked different. He looked tired, and his clothes were dirty. He smelled like he hadn't showered in a long time. He smiled a sad smile and said, "I missed you." I didn't say anything. I just stood there, holding Lily close. He said, "I've changed. I want to see my daughter." I shook my head. He reached out to touch Lily's hand. "Please, just let me see her once." I pulled Lily away and ran. That night I couldn't sleep. I held Lily tight. I locked the door. I cried silently. I was scared again. The next day I went to the police. I told them everything. They said they would help, but I still felt afraid. Since that day, I live with a little bit of fear again. I always look around when I walk outside. I check the doors at night. I don't let Lily out of my sight. I don't know if Sam will come back. I don't know if he will try to take my baby. I want to feel safe again, but I don't know how. I still go to work. I still smile for Lily. But inside, I feel a little broken. Some nights when she is sleeping, I cry. I whisper, "I'm sorry. I wish I was stronger." I don't know what will happen in the future, but I hold on to one hope, that one day I will not be afraid anymore. Some days I feel strong, like I can do anything. Other days I feel like I might fall apart. I try to be a good mother to Lily. Every morning I make her breakfast. She loves mashed banana with a little bit of yogurt. She giggles when I make silly faces while I feed her. Her smile gives me hope. But inside, I am still careful. I always check the windows. I always look behind me when I walk home. I asked for a different room at the safe house, one that feels a little more secure. But I still hear Sam's voice in my head sometimes. I see his angry face in my dreams. I wake up with my heart beating fast. One day, the woman who runs the safe house asked me, "Daisy, would you like to talk to someone? Someone who can help you feel better?" At first, I said no. I didn't want to talk about the past. I thought it would make the sad feelings stronger. But a week later, I said yes. Her name was Sarah. She had kind eyes and a calm voice. She asked me about my life, and I told her everything. About my parents, about Clara, about Sam, about Lily. She didn't cry, and she didn't look shocked. She just listened. Then she said, "Daisy, you are very strong. You have been through so much, and you are still here. You are a good mother." No one had ever said that to me before. We met every week. Slowly, I started to feel a little lighter, like I wasn't carrying such a heavy weight all the time. I learned that it wasn't my fault that bad things had happened to me. I learned that love shouldn't hurt. I learned that I deserved to feel safe and happy. Lily turned 3 years old. She was running and jumping and talking all the time. She called me Mama and would give me big hugs. She loved to sing and dance. She made the world feel a little brighter again. One sunny afternoon, I was working at the hotel. A man came to the front desk. He was tall, with kind brown eyes and a gentle smile. He asked for a room for the night. The next day he came back, and the day after that. After a few days he said, "Hello, my name is Ben." I said, "I'm Daisy." He smiled. "It's nice to meet you, Daisy." He would often sit in the lobby and read. Sometimes we would talk a little. He told me he was a teacher and was visiting our town for a few days. He was kind and easy to talk to. He never asked me too many questions about my life. One evening, as I was finishing my shift, Ben asked, "Can I walk you home? It's getting dark." I hesitated. My heart said, "No, be careful," but something inside me said, "Maybe it's okay." I said, "Just to the corner." He walked beside me, not too close, not too far. He said, "You seem like a very strong person." I smiled a little. "Thank you," I said. For the first time in a long time, I felt a little bit of warmth inside. Over time, Ben became a part of our lives. He would come to visit Lily and me. He would bring Lily little books and toys. He helped me carry groceries. He never touched me without asking. He never raised his voice. He said, "Love should make you feel safe, not scared." I didn't really believe in love anymore, but maybe it could be real. One sunny day, Ben invited Lily and me to a picnic by the lake. We sat on a blanket under a big tree. Lily laughed and chased butterflies. Ben looked at me and said, "You don't have to be afraid anymore, Daisy. I'm not him." I wanted to believe him. I wanted to trust him. But it's hard when you've been hurt before. That night, I had a dream. I saw myself as a little girl, holding Leo's hand. We were standing in a dark place, looking for a light. Then I saw Lily, smiling, holding a bright flower. I woke up feeling a little bit hopeful. A few weeks later, I got a letter. It was from Sam. He wrote, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I want to see Lily." I didn't reply. I showed the letter to Sarah at the safe house. She said they would help me talk to a lawyer. I was scared again, but I didn't cry. I looked at Lily and said, "I will always keep you safe." I put the letter in a box. I didn't tell Ben about it right away. But Ben saw that something was wrong. He asked, "Daisy, are you okay?" I said, "Not really, but I will be." That night, I looked at myself in the mirror. I saw someone I didn't quite recognize, not just a scared girl anymore. I saw a woman, a mother who would do anything to protect her child. The next morning, I spoke to a lawyer. I asked about my rights. I told them everything about Sam. They said I could ask for full custody of Lily. They said I had a good chance. I felt nervous, but also a little bit proud of myself. I told Ben everything that night, about the letter, about Sam, about my fears. He held my hand and said, "Whatever happens, I'm here for you." I believed him. A month later, I stood in a small courtroom. Sam didn't come, only his lawyer was there. They asked me questions, and I answered with a strong voice. I had papers and photos that showed what had happened. The judge listened carefully. After a little while, the judge said, "Full custody is granted to Daisy." I cried. Not because I was sad, but because I felt so much relief. When I came home, Lily ran to me. I picked her up and said, "We are safe now, my sweet girl. We are safe." That night, I took Sam's letter out of the box and burned it in the sink. Days turned into months. Lily and I moved out of the safe house into a small apartment. It had one bedroom and a little kitchen, but it was ours. I painted the walls a light blue color. I put a vase of sunflowers on the table. It started to feel like a real home. Ben came to visit us often. He never rushed me. He said, "I will wait until you are ready." One warm evening, we were sitting on the porch. Lily was asleep inside. The stars were shining brightly. Ben looked at me and said, "Daisy, I love you. Not because of what happened in your past, but because of who you are now." I cried, not from fear, but from a feeling I hadn't felt in a long time. Love. I said, "I love you too, Ben." Life wasn't a fairy tale. It was still hard sometimes. I worked at the hotel and Ben helped me with Lily. Sometimes I still had bad dreams. Sometimes I still checked the locks on the door twice before bed. But I wasn't as scared anymore. I started writing down my story. I wanted to help other women who had been through hard times. I wanted to tell them, "You are not alone. You are strong. You can get through this." I started volunteering at the safe house, talking to the women there. I would hold their hands and tell them that there is hope. I told them about my life. I didn't forget the past, but I didn't live in it anymore. Now I live for today. I live for Lily's laughter, for Ben's kind smile, for the feeling of sunshine on my face. I am still a little bit scared sometimes, but I am also strong. And every day I try to be a little bit braver than the day before. If this story touched your heart, please feel free to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories will be coming soon.